You know what I love?
What?
You're looking at a little bird. Can you hear the birds outside? It's actually Maria. She's doing really good. Like that bloke, I don't know if it was Edwards or Thrower, Percy. When I was a
Roger
kid.
Whittaker was brilliant.
Oh, Roger could whistle like better than anybody.
He did a warble of all warbles.
Oh, proper warble. Yeah, I was always impressed as a nipper when I heard a warbly whistle.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like your birdie, he's very tweet.
Very tweet. Oh, thanks. Oh, that's what, look, we're going to burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. Oh, I normally try and discourage it, but I couldn't help it. I have a whole Spotify playlist in me head just for tonight.
But lockdown's not affecting us, is it?
Not at all. Not at all.
All right.
All right, people. Way. We're not going to sing anymore. Well, we might. But, right, so here's the thing. I am now master at pyrography after a whole week. I'm not. This was so, here's the background. I'm learning, right? I'm a rookie. And I'm loving it. It's great fun. It's really cool. And to be honest, I wasn't even that I wasn't that bothered about it. I don't know. Maria wanted to try pyrography after around me Karen, who Karen's, you know what? Karen stayed with us for a while. Karen Brenda for a while. Well, the house was getting sorted last year, and bless her, it was because that confined space of my studio and locking her in that time, Maria, and now she's totally obsessive crafter woman. She crafts like a good one, which is great because of the isolation. But Karen's into conservation with beach conservation, and she's part of Orca. She goes out to sea when they can, and does the spotting and sighting of all the whales and all this stuff. That we don't know which one. They're just like bigger fish type and a smaller fish type thing. Karen knows what they are, but she's really upcycling and repurposing things from the beach because that's where her heart lies. Driftwood and making really cool signs and jewellery and ornaments with it. So Karen did a little bit of pyrography, and Maria said, "Oh, that looks cool." So they started talking. I'm thinking, "Oh, she's looking in there," and then I had a bit of a try, and I thought, "Oh, I love that." So hence, last Monday was my birthday. So I got this lovely pyrography machine, and to be honest, I hadn't a clue how to use it. I hadn't a clue. So much YouTubing, and because I'm more of a watch it and try and work it out than a read a book person. I can read, but I like the pictures better, and I like to just see. Yeah, impressive. But I like the pictures. I like to see what it's, So what I'm going to do is just share what I've learned as a rookie, which I think is a good thing. And plus, a lot of the YouTube videos out there, there's lots of time lapse of people who are amazing at what they do, and they know exactly what they're doing, and that's stunning. But they're obviously, it doesn't really not teaching me that much other than, wow, that looks good. And there's some tutorial ones, but a lot of them are in the States. So some of the things like the references and things, they're not what's accessible to us here, even the machines that they use. So hopefully it'll be beneficial, and it's good from just somebody who's learning viewpoint as well. So I can tell you what was a kind of surprise to me, how I got over it.
Was a big surprise,
the big fire, the engines were a bit of a surprise, yes,
nice,
but we don't talk about lovely, lovely, really canny bunch of lads, yeah. So, but yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So let me start talking you through the basic bits. But like I say, I am not an expert. This is just what I've crammed into my brain in a short period of time. And I think it's working great. With stamps, it's fantastic because you don't have to draw. You don't have to trace things down. Well, let's crack on. Let's look at the table.
There's nothing on the table, Sheena.
I know, but there will be. Oh, shall I show you what we're looking at first? Let's show you some examples, because then you go, well, I don't even want to do it. Right, so the first one, you saw me do this, was the very first one I tried. I have to say it wasn't the very first one I tried. I lie. We got some little things like this from Amazon, and they're very thin, very inexpensive. If you put in like pyrography wood, these will come up. We got little coasters, and I tried one little thing quickly before I went to bed, burning with the tool, which I'll tell you about in a minute. and it looked so crude and not very good, and dots, it looked like Morse code or something, didn't it, Maria? Like, oh, it was really tricky. And so the wood makes a massive difference. So then I started to try to research what wood is the best to use, and because if you're going to learn something, you don't want the surface to be holding you back. It's like when we use white card when we're stamping and colouring. So this one here, this is poplar. So there's, I looked online, and there's, this was from Etsy, a man who's specialising in wood for pyrography, which is actually, I thought I'd rather pay a little bit of money, because I don't want to be wasting stuff while I'm learning. It's not like a piece of paper that you just bin. So this was like 6 pieces of poplar. They were about £1 each for these bits of wood, but I thought they could make lovely wall hangings. And you know what? That was the very first thing I did. But on proper wood, it made a massive difference, because I could get some shading and things here, which we'll talk about the machine I'm using. But that was that. And then I tried this one. I said this is poplar. This is not poplar. This is Beech Wood Ply. It's a plywood, but it's much better quality than, can you see this thin stuff here? See how much thicker it is?
It's more like a balsa.
It's more like a balsa. It's super light and thing. So that was the Beech Wood Ply, and these were cheaper. These were like 10 for £6. So really inexpensive. So great to get. I'll put some links up for you as well. This is the poplar. This is a good wood. This is what a lot of the pyrography artists use. And I thought, well, see what the difference is. Again, I thought I'd rather go small. It's less intimidating. I can learn what I'm doing, learn what works and what doesn't work, without investing in a piece that I might ruin. But you know what? They're like no throwaways. I'd keep them. They're keepers. But look at the back of this one. Oh, I didn't want to use another bit to try out the nib and things on. So that would get felt put on it, and then I'll put it as a hanging or something. But that was the first one. Then I researched and found that another wood that a lot of people use is pine. And these are super cheap. These, you can get a bag of these pine slices. It's not the best for pyrography, because pine can be quite sappy, and there's all these little rings, and wherever you've got the rings, they can take the burn at a different rate. So it can like grab a little bit, whereas the wood's softer, you get a little splodge. But you know what? You've just got to embrace it. Don't try and be too perfect with it. And I think that's a good thing, because, I gave up proper, being an artist art years ago, because I used to stress out too much and trying to achieve perfection all the time. And that was just so not relaxing or pleasurable at all. So this is good, because it's something that, being a new skill, you're not going to get it absolutely perfect. But I love that. I think in the beauty of it, it looks rustic, it just fits in with the wood. And if you like wood, but you're not a carpenter or anything like that, you love natural materials, and you want to create little keepsakes, those with a little string or ribbon around a bottle for a birthday present or Christmas, I think they'd be perfect. And what you need to do is remember to sign the back. So that was a freehand doodle. That was a doodle trying this pine up. That was the very first thing I did on the pine. Just thought a tree of life and fit it into the shape. And it worked out really nicely. And this is actually a gift I've got waiting for somebody. So that's that one. And I love that, because, you can keep these for a while, whereas a card you might not. You've seen the bird. I love this. Check him out. Oh, I think he just works a treat. So this is the crow from the Magic Cottage. So look at all these stamps you've got. Look, I went a little bit off piece. This is what you want to do. Use the stamp, but just as a framework, just as a template, just as a keeping you right on the general scale. After that, do what you want. But this was, I did this yesterday outside under the canopy. Lovely day last night. We were like a couple of kids. We didn't want to come in, did we? And waxed. Didn't you see the difference in the colour of the wood? This is the wood before it's waxed. Look at the difference in the colour, and I'll tell you about that shortly, because we'll do the whole process, finishing from start to finish. But look at how it brings the circles out in the wood. Remember to sign it, because then you've got a little keepsake for someone. And I love the crow. And here's the thing, we're going to give away to one of you tonight. You're either going to get the crow, which I love, like I say, it depends where you are. If you're more of like the quirky, like darker type that likes a bit of a, bit of more mystery, or you just like pretty, you can have either the bird on the branch or the crow. So we'll give you a choice, but we'll pick somebody out again like we did last week. Here's another one. This is from the seasons, the summer. And what I was trying to do here is I was oh, hi, Uti. Hi, Uti's watching.
Hey, Uti.
So what I've done here is I wanted to practice shading because there's a tool that can do that. And this is exactly, I was so happy that I was able to do this, but this is just after, I mean, I haven't done this every day, you know, I do have other things I have to do, but I was so pleased with that the shading came out, using the tool for little bits for the wheat, for the wild grasses, and I might put a bit of colour on that. We'll put that to one side, so we'll pop that there. Speaking of colour, oh, and one more I've got ready. Christmas ornaments. We were talking with the team and we were saying, oh, this is cool. Imagine them for Christmas. You could make the coolest Christmas ornaments. Oh, we got a frowny face.
You got an angry face?
No, who's got an angry face? Somebody, whoever you are. Have some chocolate, quick, it's Easter. It'll help you. Phew, just saying.
Yeah.
I haven't had any, can you tell? But I'm not bitter. Right, okay, so this was the elf's feet that I created for Christmas. Thank you. We need to counteract the angry with more love. It hurt me then. Thanks, people. So this one
I'm over it.
Yeah, you're over it? Yeah, I think I might be as well.
Yeah.
It's all about the odds, isn't it?
It's all about the love.
Playing the odds and the love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Out with that and get in with love.
Yeah.
So look, we've got this here this is, oh, look at that. Thanks, team. You're all good uns.
Whoa.
We have our people.
Yes.
And you're all good uns. So this is the elf. This is going to be coloured. This is going to be coloured. So that's a Christmas ornament. Now, speaking of colour.
Dun,
Ba,
dun,
ba, ba,
dun.
ba. La, 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 la. You might have seen this little guy without the colour. But look at him with the colour. That's watercolours. How cool is that? I love them both. I think they both look good. You'll find that when you burn the wood, it kind of acts like, like a gutter in glass painting, where you put the little line and it stops it being absorbent where you don't want it to absorb. That's kind of what the burning area does. So when you put your watercolour, it plays nice. So that there, you might have seen before it was burned, but look at the shines. Well, it's waxed as well, so now it's protected. See there, a little shine on it. And again, signed it there in the back. And where's the other? Oh, colours here. This one here. This one. This was the big charities. I can't remember what that one was from. This one was, that was the garden sketchbook. That was your dad's blossom of his tree in the front garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't pink. It was white, so I changed it. So this one here, and you know what the thing is surprising is how deeply it etches as well. It's so cool. I'm so pleased you're liking this. There's something different, isn't it? Even if you're not all going to run out and buy a pyrography machine, I think it's just fun to see another craft and see, and think, wow, I might want it, might not. But you can see, again, and these little discs, you can get Amazon, like it's 10 quid for about 20 slices we got, depending on the size. But they only go to like 15 for like 10 if they're bigger. So that was the thing we did there. And then Maria, different style completely. Can you see this? This looks like, wood etched. So this Maria here, this very one before me, make yourself known, Maria.
Hello.
That's the one I'm talking about. Happy Easter, everybody. Please eat chocolate for both of us. We have none in the house.
We're dieting,
desperate.
aren't we?
Oh, yeah, but not bitter. Tell you what, that keto chocolate mug cake is going to happen before bedtime. Right, so anyway, this is Maria's used a different tool to cut in and use line work, and it looks very like that old, like wood carving look. How cool is that? Showing you something else that we've been doing, that we've been gardening as well. So we have an area that we want to, look at this coming in, it's like the mothership. If you haven't seen Close Encounters, in a galaxy far, far away, these are not the signs you are looking for.
I really hope this lockdown finishes soon.
Isn't it? It's huge. This is to go in the garden. Oh, you like say that people get me. They get me. Yeah. You should all be scared, a bit worried. So this one is to go in our meditation garden. We've got a part of the good garden corner that's all herbs and nice smelling things. And so this, it does look like Star Wars when you're doing like that. Look, in a galaxy far, far away. That was me.
Let's move on.
All right, anyway. I was having fun. And then there's, look, driftwood. Here's the thing though, if you're using something like driftwood, don't expect to do the fancy shading as efficiently as you're going to be more kind of rustic with it, because this, even after being sanded, is, and that's the beauty of it. Look at the gorgeous, look at how pretty that wood is. You know, change the approach, change the style to what you're doing. There's so much you can do with it. Right, wood. All right, and we're going to start burning. Right, the wood that you can buy. These are the discs. These are the discs here. When you first get any of the wood and they said finished and ready to use, ignore it. Right, ignore it. Because this, can you listen? Can you hear that?
Nasty.
Nasty. This. Smooth as silk.
That's not where I was going.
No, it wasn't. That's why I said it quickly. So what you want to do is get some fine sandpaper, 2000, 1500, something like that, and you just go like this. And you want it as smooth as you can get it, because that's going to make a massive difference to the results you're going to get. Then when you've done that, find a stamp. So we have the bird. Put it on a little block. You want a good what was I going to say? It's an ink that you're not going to see. Woo! And I'm going to see which side it fits. He fits on best. I'm going to turn him around. Will he just fit on that one? I had one that he fit on before. Was it this one?
I think these discs were 6 to 8 centimetres.
Yes, what we'll do, there's a lot you can get. There's different sizes. Right, we'll do it on that one.
6
to 8. Yeah. So what I'm going to use, guys, I'm going to use some Pumice Stone Distress Ink. I've tried other colours. Depending on the colour of your wood, you'll see it or not see it. If it's darker wood, you might need a darker ink. The lighter colours, like old paper and things, didn't show up as well as I needed it to. So I had to go a bit darker. But really, you don't want to see the ink. You want to see your pyrography. So that's it. I think if we do that there, the little boy is going to fit on. The rest of it around the outside doesn't matter as much, because, you know, you can tweak that anyway. There you go. Perfect. There's the bird all ready to go. Now, what I would do, I'm going to dry this a little bit. Also be careful when you get these, because they are really inexpensive. They're just literally sliced bits of a pine branch. And with a little hole drilled in, you get string with this one as well, don't you? You got a little bag of string. But you can put ribbon, you can put a bit of beading through it, whatever you want. But what you might find, one of them, after I sanded it as well, look, we took them outside and it was so hot yesterday. Because Nosferatu Douglas here, she of the translucent glowing skin, 15 minutes I was in the garden. Couldn't find the sunscreen, but thought, right, put a meditation on. The headspace, 15 minutes. I know it's finished and I can't possibly burn in that time. Guess what? I'm burned. Aloe vera, much. Aloe vera, lots of it. Absolutely. Anyway, so that's what happened to this. It's split. Be careful of heating them too much, or, you know, extreme temperatures. So right now, the machine. Are you all still there? You're not bored? You're all right?
Yeah, we're all right.
Great.
So some of these are stamped first, Angela.
Yes.
Also, you can freehand.
Yeah, that's freehand. That was a freehand doodly doodle. Trees are pretty good. If you just map out, get a pencil if you're not sure, and put some branches evenly spaced, like twig style, if you want to even start like that. Twig style branches, and then you know you've got a nice balance. After that, all you've got to do is make them go from thicker to thinner. After you've finished it, decide where you want it a bit darker. So I burned more on the left hand side, so give the impression of a bit darker on that side. So that was, yeah, but the beauty is we've got all these stamps that are going to work. So the machine, what I would recommend is you've got two types of machines to use. You've got what they call like the soldering iron type machine, which is, I've used one of those a long time ago, and they vary. They have all these machines that look almost identical. The one I had that looked like a soldering iron was an acetate cutter, and it was so hard to use because you've got a big chunky handle and a thick cord and about that much pointy bit before you make contact. Now when I'm drawing more like like this. Look at how close my hand is naturally to the point when I'm drawing with any control, right? Imagine drawing like this with a big tool. The further you're away, the less support you've got. And my little pinky's trying to support me, but it can't. It's a hover pinky. When I'm drawing, you see there, I've got the support. So that was a big thing. So the ones that are like the soldering iron type, they're much less expensive. There is a one from Walnut Hollow that has an adjustable temperature. If you're going to get any and you want to spend less and you want to try the soldering iron type, get one with adjustable temperature, because that's going to allow you to do some shading. Because the only way you can get shading is, there's three things. There's the temperature. So higher means darker. It's going to burn the wood darker. It's going to make it almost black, like Maria's sign was there. There's also speed, because the faster that you use the over an area, you know, the longer you linger, it's going to burn in that area first, isn't it? You've got to keep it moving. And the third thing is the tool as well, depending on which tool you're going to use. So, right, this is the wire burner machine. So totally different. This one, you get a pen. With them, the general thing is you get a pen, and they've usually got some way near the base that will protect and keep it from getting hot. All right. And yeah, it is fancy, but it was my big birthday present. I mean, this was like, I've got to say, with razor tip machines, they were less expensive, but this was the only one they had at the time, because everything the way it is at the minute. So we were looking for the less flash one, weren't we? But they didn't have it. So, and it was my birthday, Maria didn't want to disappoint me, so I got this one. But they do a great one that isn't digital, so I wouldn't go for all the digital. But the beauty of this one is it's a pen style, and you can unplug this wire and you can swap it with other fixed nib pens if you want, like that. This one's called a spoon shader. Can you see? It looks like a spoon. Yeah. There you go, spoon shader, and I think that's the medium spoon shader. So if you need to quickly swap, but you wouldn't really want to swap with more than 2 pens if you can help it. What I would advise, I'm all over the shop here, is try to master a multi-purpose nib, which is what I'm trying to do with this one here. So if you're only going to get 1 pen and 1 nib, this is called a small round nib. Can you see there? Thanks, Maria. It's like a little flattened kind of, but thin on one side. The beauty of this is I can use it on the side and I can draw a very fine line, but I can use it flat like this and do a bit of shading with it. I'll show you when we start it. Anyway, that's what a wire burner is. The other thing is these little bits come out. You unfasten this comes out, and you can even make your own nibs with just a bit of the wire that you can buy dead cheap. Okay, so that's a wire burner machine, and they've usually got a dial. There's other ones that you can have a dial. If you show that, do you want to show that one there? This was this was Maria's machine, and this one is this is called the Peter Child's machine, which is a great machine as well. And you just dial it up, see, and so it doesn't need to be digital, but it's got the varying temperature. And there's the pen for this one. So it's a similar deal. Maria's got the small spoon shader on there. All right. So this is, because we wanted to play together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch this on. In fact, I'm going to switch it on, and I'm going to switch it on to 480 temperature, because the thing is as well is the bigger the tool, the more it takes to heat. All right, you'll find all this out when you start playing.
Can you write with it?
You can write with it. Let me show you. So I'm not going to go straight. A big tip is with these pound things, just to sign one as a practice one. Fortunately, the one that decided to split signed itself as my practice one. So instead of going straight onto the bit that you're going to possibly ruin, you can try it out like this. Look. Way. So you can. And the thing is the smaller you work, the more difficult it could be to do. So work on a bit larger with your initial, images if you can, because it's all about getting the temperature. That looks a little bit hot, so I'm going to put it down a little bit, because you can always, like everything, you can go. And so here's the thing, that's going to give you a long, straight edge. It's like when you paint with a flat brush. If you use it on the side, you get a straight line. If you use it on the flat and go around like this, little circles, you get a shaded line. So if you had a flower and you wanted to, say there was a petal shape, say that's the shape of the petal, yeah? What you can do is put this to the side and you can start pulling down like this. I would absolutely advise as well, this is great to play outside if it's a nice day and you've got some cover on outside, because you do get a little bit of smoke. So if you're asthmatic, you could wear a little, a little mask if you can get one. But the cheapy mask doesn't have to be like your going out shopping mask. But can you see how now you can drag, and the more you go over, the darker it's going to become, and that's how you. So this is why I would absolutely recommend, instead of thinking, oh, I want every nib and I want to swap every nib, just get one nib and try a flexible nib. So let's go to the bird. So this is what I would do to start with the bird, is I'm going to use it lightly, just outline his beak, light pressure, quite quick, because that's going to give me that fine lighter line. Okay, and I'm going to go and I'm going to just define his little eye area here. Now with this tool, when you're moving it around, you've got to kind of twist your hand a little bit, because it's like you've got a knife edge kind of thing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken. Can you see? The more I press, the darker his eye gets there. Okay, and now to do the feathers, I'm going to use, and I'm not going to try and pick out every line in this stamp. I'm going to be selective. So I might want to turn it up a little bit. I'm just going to turn it up slightly because I want these to be a bit more defined. This is where that, the adjustable temperature control comes in. And also you'll find that, again, with this pine, you haven't really done anything wrong, but every now and again it'll catch more than, you'll feel the difference in the density of the wood, is what I'm saying, because it's very irregular. Where the circles are, the rings in the wood, you'll find that they're harder than in between, and that kind of prevents you from from actually burning a colour easily. So I'm just going to take my tool and just drag out for the texture like this. Might turn it up a touch more. And what I would say as well, pick this up. Don't work on the table like I'm doing now. It's much easier if you hold it close to you, and hold it in your hand. You've got more control that way, I think. I'm only doing it this way so that my camera woman can show you more efficiently. And the stamp's there, and you'd think that it would look the same because you're using the same stamp every time, but you're not, because burning wood's even more variable than painting or colouring in. They're all going to look different because you're going to highlight different areas and different aspects on each one. So they even look like a different bird by the time you finish. Probably be a flamingo, this one. Dodo. So you see how I'm using the side of the tool, and you can take your time a bit more when you're doing this, without people watching, but I'm just aware of the time, and because I don't know if Mandy's watching, but
yes, Mandy is here. Hi, Mandy.
Okay, so we might not get the colouring done this week. We'll see how we get on, and if we don't get the colouring done, we'll do it maybe midweek. So again, just the same movements, just see how if you linger, if you push down a little bit more, you get a much darker mark.
So Sarah wants to know the name of the machine you're using and where do you get it from?
Right, so this is an American machine and it's called a razor tip.
think it's actually Canadian, isn't it?
Oh, Canadian it is, you're right, Maria. Yeah, this is not an American machine. You know, I just want to look at my bird because I can't remember where he's up to his little wings. Right, if you can't see on your stamp the reference very well, then look at the original. You know, if you there's a little bit pale and you can't quite see what's going on, look at the original.
So you could stamp it onto a piece of paper first.
Absolutely, Maria. Yeah, good thinking. Wow, I'm impressed. So what I'm going to do, I'm not worried about this being a bit dark here because this, I definitely want a bit of shadow under his little wing.
Pamela's asking if it came from Amazon. To be honest, I've Googled it.
No, it didn't. It came from a place called Yandles, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are loads on Amazon, but they don't have this one. But there are the machines that are really good. Tracy, my team member, who did this a while back, but she did it on leather because you can always do it on leather. So I'm going to have a try that as well. Tracy's got a machine that gets really good reviews too, and it's called a fire writer. So, but I will absolutely, if you've tried the other type, the you know, the wand type, the soldering iron looking one before, I would, if you want to do it, I mean, it is an investment, but then, you know, what we're like as crafters, how much do we invest in anyway? And, you know, but it's a really good, really totally different ball game with these machines to the other type. So can you see how we've got, I'm using the little lines to kind of create a bit of shading. And so down here, this is going to be darker. And so I want to do more lines. It's like when I'm drawing for stamps, you know, I'll draw more line work where I want it to be darker. So actually, if you look at the stamps, you'll probably see I've got more little dashes where I've implied some shading. So just, you know, have that as your reminder that, oh yeah, I'll put a little bit more in there. And so little, not too heavy a pressure, and just be aware that you'll feel the wood, different density in the wood when you're playing. Some of it being quite, you know, quite soft, and other bits quite hard. But that's just the nature of the, you know, of what you're doing, of the pine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the side of this, and I want this shadow. Can you see how I'm burning that darker? It's little tiny circular movements around there. And this is where I would absolutely, I had to find this out because there was nobody said, I've tried to research the most versatile pyrography nib, and there isn't any. I've looked on Google, I've looked everywhere, because I thought, well, I want to buy that nib, I want to leave that nib on as a rookie and know that's the one that's gonna, you know, do me, I'm going to use 90% of the time. I can swap around if I want for a specific thing, but if I leave that particular nib on, I'm going to be able to do quite a bit with it. But I couldn't find it, to be honest. A lot of people use what they call a, oh, what's that knife? What's it called? It's like a knife-shaped one. Oh, God, it'll come to me. But there's a nib that just looks kind of like knife-shaped. But I think that would be trickier to use. This one, especially for smaller scale, if you want to use your stamps and things, some of the tools are much bigger. So this, I think, is a good compromise. So I'm going to do that. His little tail at the back there, a bit darker.
Jane's asking, how long did it take you to get it right?
You know what, the first one we did, it was so funny, right? We're going to disclose here, Maria, right? So I am not the most patient of people, am I? You know, I want to just do it. Neither is Cooper here, all right? Just saying. It's like, I think, I mean, we're probably not alone. You want to just get going with something, you do it. And if it doesn't work the first time, you go, right, okay. And you're a little bit frustrated. So the first one I did, and it was on that cheap ply stuff, was like, oh, honestly. And then tried it, that flower, that didn't look too bad at all. But it wasn't how I wanted it to be. So we had been watching a couple of the videos, and there's one lady who's really good, actually. And I think it's called Pyrography Made Easy. And she's called Brenda. So if you look at her videos, hers are really, she's about the best we've found. But we were watching, and Brenda, lovely, but she talks a lot slower than I do. And it was like, right, okay. And I was finding, I'm not being horrible, but my attention span's not that great. Right, so we had a try of this thing this very first time. And before that was like, come on, Brenda, move it on, pet. Come on, Brenda, pick it up. Right, so then had a try this first night, realised like, whoa, this is not as easy as Brenda makes it look. So next night we were glued, we were transfixed. It was like Brenda was like, oh, I don't know, we were hanging on every word, weren't we, Maria?
Yeah,
So it just was, Brenda, slow down. Oh yeah, slow the pace down, pet. And before we were like, all right, Brenda, come on. But yeah, absolutely. And then the next night, because we listened and actually went, oh, okay, yeah, all right, Brenda, I get it. It's like a couple of things was just getting the heat right. That was the first thing, and getting the wood right and trying to work out the best tool to use. Once you get the feel of it, I was saying to somebody, I can't remember, on the Facebook page, who said, oh, I had a try and it, didn't find it that easy. And I said, well, me neither. And it was kind of like when you saw like folk painting, like real folk painting with, the double loading of the brush style folk painting. And I thought, because I can draw, you're going to say, oh, you'll be good at that, Sheena. Yeah, oh, okay, yeah, that looks good. It looked so easy. Had a try and went, whoa, this is so not easy, because it's not like anything I've done before. So it was the same thing. It was like, right, okay, stay calm, work out what the variables are here, what's making this different to just drawing. So the difference is that you're obviously not drawing with a colour, you're drawing with just heat, temperature on wood. And also the thing I found surprising was that, I haven't seen a lot of pyrography in the flesh either. So, you're thinking, I don't know if I'm doing it right. So, this is the thing. If there's people out there who have been taught pyrography, who've done it before, who know what you're doing, I don't. I'd love some feedback from you, some tips, because I'm just doing what I think I should be doing. That looks good. And at the end of the day, I keep saying this about stamping, painting, any artwork, any craft. It doesn't really matter about the rules. If you're happy with it and you think it looks good, and then you realise, whoa, I shouldn't have been doing that, I'm going to go to pyrography jail now. It doesn't really matter. If it's looking good to you and other people are liking the look of it as well, even better. So, but it would be good to know, pointers on how can I make that better? How can I, make my life easier when I'm doing this bit? Because what I found was, see that bit there? I didn't think that you would be etching into the wood as much as you actually can. You see the smoke coming there? Mm. Look at how dark that's gone. It's almost black. So what I'm doing is I'm establishing where I think it would be the darkest in this whole picture. And I think around his little wing, it's going to be dark there. So I can go back now and press on a little bit more. I haven't turned the temperature up. I don't want to keep changing all the variables. Leave the temperature where it is and take your time more with the tool. So make that the variable. Make it so that what you're doing differently is you're going slower. So the heat is staying in one place, like ironing, You don't want to do that when you're ironing. But here, I am, I'm not talking from any much experience. I'm just saying with ironing, just sounding like I am. Again, I think I've done more pyrography in my lifetime than ironing. Maria, I'll vouch for that, won't you, pet?
I will.
Yeah. We're moving on swiftly, though. So can you see how I've got this variation here by using the side of the tool? You need to move quite quickly. You can always, like everything, darken it, but lightening it is a whole other ballgame. I don't even know how to lighten it. I think I've seen people on some of the things use like a knife or something, because obviously it's not like an eraser. You can't put a bit of water on it to bleach it out. It's burnt wood. Sanding it might be the thing to do, but how you would get in so close with a sander to fix small bits. So as I said, I think you've just got to embrace the rustic element of it. you know.
You can put it right by using like a scalpel blade,
Right.
or a razor blade on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Rather than sandpaper.
Right. So getting really close with that. Thank you. So what I'm doing is I'm just making his little leg on this side a little bit sharper there, and his little foot that's wrapped around the branch.
Kerry's asking if it makes a groove in the wood, or does it
does.
just burn?
No, it does make a groove in the wood. It makes but the darker you go and the softer the wood, the more the groove. I love that because it's almost like you're sculpting. I'll hold it up for you so you'll see how much deeper this is. It's kind of, if you turn it up even more, it's like you're melting the wood. Let me show you this, look. Can you see how it's gone shiny? It's kind of like the sap in there has, it's gone really, it's an indentation there, and it is in this bit here as well, where you got the bud on the branch, well, can you see? It's looking quite cool, isn't it? We'll give this one away. What we like for time, Mandy? What we like for time? I'm aware of you.
It's 6:45.
Oh, we might not get the colouring done this week, guys. But if you want to we can do a midweek one maybe. If you're all up for it, let me know if you're up for a bit of colouring then with them. And I can have a couple, 2 or 3 done to colour. Oh, another thing is when you're doing this, especially when Maria did the dark carbon one, the dark one, what can happen is you get a build-up of carbon on the tool. And so the best way to clean it, believe it or not, is a tea strainer. And what you do is you just drag across like this. And then it takes it off, because when you're really going for the dark colours, that's a kind of byproduct of that. So we've got this little guy there. So I think maybe could go a little bit darker under here because there's going to be less light under there. So we could emphasize this just under there. Getting a bit close to the nib then. And it's just, you know what, when you do these little pine discs, they're a great size and they're a great way to learn, because it's not the easiest wood. So if you can do it on this, the poplar and things is much better, but they're cheap enough, and they're fun little gifts that you can do as many as you want, and they come together really quickly. I mean, we've created this whole little picture here together in no time. So and we did a lot of talking, yeah.
Sorry, people are saying yes please to the colouring.
Now or?
No,
the next one.
Yeah,
okay.
We could perhaps do one midweek.
Yeah, absolutely. So that we've done together, guys. That was it. Now, what I'll do is I will show you how to wax. Have I got one that I could wax? Probably not. Let me show you on the back of it. I'll leave this one because we can. Should we give one away anyway? We'll do a giveaway this today. So that's the one I've just done. Look at the difference in the colour. It's much paler. Now, if you don't want it to go much darker, you could use like a clear non-yellowing varnish on it. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Just that, and then you'd have the contrast more. On this one, I used a Briwax clear wax varnish. And I've got some more coming. We've got some more coming on Thursday, I've got to tell you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, poplar this time. They're a bit bigger and they're going to be coasters. But I thought that would be a lovely gift for in your craft room, or as a special gift for whoever. You could, and it's something to keep. It's workable, it's usable, and it make a great coaster. So we're going to pick a winner. Maria's going to pick a winner, and you can have either the crow. I love the crow. He just looks like a bad one, doesn't he? He's up to no good, that one. Or you can have the little innocent butter wouldn't melt bird there. And what we'll do, and this is the one we've just done, and so how quick, you can't even see the ink. There's no ink showing on there. We've covered everything with burn. And then we'll colour this one, and we'll also, let's do this as well. Let's colour this one next Facebook Live midweek. We'll work out what day. All right, and maybe what else I want to burn before then, and then we can get some colour onto them. like these.
Pretty.
Yeah, but the burner is, the model, the make is razor tip. That's the thing, from Yandles. But another great machine is the fire burner, which is what Tracy's got. Or the other one, which is really well built, this one here, is the Peter Childs machine as well. And yeah, but you can buy all, I should show you the nibs. Look, let me show you here. So this is what you get. A lot of them mix and match the nibs, and you can buy them in little things like, see?
Megan's asking, could you use floor wax? And actually, it's a high grade.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
Furniture polish that we've been using.
Yeah, this is a great one because this goes into the wood. It's like
clear.
Yeah, if you're doing your chalk painting and things, this is the one you would go with that. And the thing is you haven't got drying time. This goes into the wood. Put a layer on. I wish I had one. Shall we do one? Shall I wax one before we go? Right. Let me show you the little tools. You see this little tool? There's one there that looks like proper like a little lion. Oh, seriously. I've got the shakes looking at that thing. All right, there's a big spoon shader. You buy these to go in that tip. But what I would absolutely advise is this. Look at how fine this is. This does a super fine line. Super fine.
You can write with that.
You can write with it, but you can't shade with it very well, which is why I've been practicing with that particular nib, so I don't have to keep swapping. There's this one here, which is another kind of like a hooked kind of knife type one. So this one will cut into the wood as it burns and give you a super fine line. And you can also shade with it. So you could probably learn to write and shade with that as well. But there's lots of different nibs, but you don't need to buy lots of them. We bought a few because we wanted to see. So let's wax one of these, all right? So I don't think I'll put any more colour on this. I'm tempted to put some colour on this.
Well, Kathy is just asking, what have you used to colour it with?
My watercolour pencils or watercolour paints. Simple as that. I would show you now, but I'm conscious that we might not be able to get it done.
We'll be doing that Wednesday.
We'll do it Wednesday or Thursday, and it'll be another thing. But shall I show you the finishing with the wax? Would you like to see that before we go? I'm going to show you anyway. Right, so I'm going to take the wax. I'm going to take an old towel. Oh, it smells lovely. Again, best in an outdoor area. And then I'm going to just put it on like this.
Brings the grain out.
It does bring the grain out. Lovely, yeah. And you're just rubbing it in, pushing it right into the grain. So this is protecting it. It's making it waterproof. It's making it heat proof. It's making it so for coasters and things, this will be great. And what you do is you put one layer on. You see how it's spread out a little bit there. You want it so that it's really quite wet over the surface. Push it into the wood, or don't forget the sides and things. But you're gonna, once you've done one side, then the other, this first side's gonna have dried, put another coat onto it. And this goes on top of the watercolour as well. You'll see when we do that through the week. We'll have about 3 discs with watercolour. So you see that was me little stamp went a bit wonky there. So I tried it again on that side. But see the difference in the colour? It brings the colour right out. And then once you've got the wax on, you literally, but put 2 or 3 layers on before you do this, and then you buff it like this. Thank you. Softer cloth is better, yeah. And it brings out the burn line shiny too. You really see it well. So can you see the?
Yeah, and that's just one layer.
That's just one layer, yeah. And it feels lovely now. You feel, so if you spill water on that, it's not going to be absorbent. It's not going to do anything like that. What do you think of pyrography? Are you liking it? Did you enjoy this? Something different is with your stamps, isn't it? And some of you will want to try it. Some of you won't. I didn't think I wanted to. I really didn't. And then I started it and I was like, wow, I'm totally hooked. I'm loving it. And I'm loving how good they're looking over such a short period of time. When the first one I did, I thought, whoa, that's not as easy as it looks. But it really doesn't take you long to get the feel of it and the hang of it. Literally one night was like, okay, it's not working like a pencil, which is what I do and what I'm used to, or a pen. So let's take a step back. do a little more doodles, those scribbles, see how it feels. And once you get the feel for the wood and the heat and the tool, then yeah, every one you do is a little bit better than the one before, and it's just sinking in, and it's good fun, and it's great to learn a new hobby, a new skill, you know, because I've been around the block a bit now, so I'm loving it, and it's just playtime. It's good fun. So hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you Wednesday, Thursday, might be Tuesday if I can't wait. We'll give you at least a day's notice, heads up. We'll play again.
Just one question I'd like you to answer before we go. Would you wax after colouring, after applying colour? Yep,
absolutely. Now here's the thing: there is a little bit of small print here though. People have used, and I've seen them use a wax cream. You know, like you got your pencils, you got your watercolour pencils, and you got your ordinary colouring pencils, which are usually wax based. And I've seen people colouring with wax pencils too, and use like you know, the alcohol, what's it called? Oh, sans, you know, that dilutant that you use with it to blend it in. So that being wax based, I don't think I'd put wax on top of wax, because it could break down the colour that's held in the wax of the pencil. So you might end up with a smooshy mess. Whereas wax over watercolour, perfect, because you're not diluting it, you're not lifting it, you're not going to move it. So that's all I'm saying. So yeah, if you're using the water-based, a contrasting medium, absolutely. Yeah. So watercolour pencils, we're going to use them, but I'm not going to use them directly on. We're going to use them like a little palette, because a lot of you've got your Faber-Castell or your Faber-Castell pencils, so we'll use them. You could use watercolours, you can use dilute acrylics, you can use lots of things, inks, whatever. But I would still say use a pigment-based medium, not a dye-based medium. I wouldn't use your dye-based inks, because if you want this as a keepsake and you want to put hot drinks on it and you want to have the sun shining on it, which you want it to be durable, you want this to last. It's not paper after all. This is something that is wood. It's gonna last, which is fabulous. It's something that, you know, can be around for a long time, that you've made. So for a paper crafter, I think that's a really good thing. You don't want the colour to fade, which dye-based will. So make sure it's pigment. And yeah, all right then. Oh, one important thing. Right, you know when you're shopping online and you sometimes can't tell the scale of things. I think I mentioned this last Facebook Live. My camera woman might just stop me and went, oh, sorry, dropped the connection. Not so good at trying to determine scale, even with measurements. So, delivery the other day, and looked outside and said, the bloke, your bamboo poles have arrived. Bean poles, you know, just for like a small little bean container, because we're here, it's like we've got bean, we're going to plant them. These things, we need a beacon on the top of these bean. I think Maria has some kind of magic bean she's growing, because the scale went completely wrong. They are massive. Low flying aircraft, when they start again, we will need some kind of warning beacon on the top of them. They're huge. So that was the one thing. The next thing was, oh, I've ordered some lovely signs, some lovely name plaques, thinking, you know, nice, look like this big, good size. Mind you, it was clever photography. House number, yeah, room, whatever, bathroom, perfect. This is how they arrived. There wasn't a good sign. And then we looked inside. Seriously?
Earrings.
Yeah, have you ever seen Father Ted in the cow sketch with Google? This one's close, but this one's far away. These ones look like they're way far away, but no, that's the size of them.
Well, in fairness, they photographed them like that. They looked huge.
Yeah, they did. I did see the photo.
I was thinking house name, number.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, poem, you know. The most I managed to do was just about my second thing I tried out. I managed to just squeeze that on one of the largest ones.
Mary Muscardi. That's a nice name.
That's a lovely name, yeah.
Mary Muscardi, you're today's winner.
Oh, fantastic. Mary Muscardi reminds me a bit of Nana Muscuri.
Oh yeah, she could sing a tune, couldn't she, Nana Muscuri?
Little Greek song Nana would sing. Debbie knows all about that.
Yeah.
Flinging the glasses, smashing the plates as we speak. Debbie Durrant.
So, Mrs. Muscardi, could you send me your address, please, on private message?
And also tell us, do you want the crow, or would you like the little bird in the branch? We need to know. All right. Cheers, lovelies. See you next week. We'll do another giveaway. We'll give you something else, whether you want it or not. Midweek. All right. See you then.
See you soon.
Take
Enjoy
care.
the rest of your Easter and stay safe.
Yeah, and eat lots of chocolate, please.
And eat lots of chocolate.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.